Is there genuine interest from Barcelona? Is it going to unsettle Pogba? Get into all of that for us.
I think the most important, Adrian, is that Paul Pogba is happy at Manchester United. He doesn't want to leave. He hasn't asked to leave. He hasn't asked for more money either, like some reports we've read here in England. But you knew that Mino Raiola was always going to make a lot of noise around Paul Pogba after the World Cup that Paul Pogba had. You know, it's normal whether the bids from Juventus or from Barcelona are genuine and really happened, or is Mino Raiola just, like I said, making a lot of noise around Paul Pogba. That's a different story. And maybe Mino Raiola wants Paul Pogba to move from Manchester United. But Pogba is happy to be there. He's happy to be in the Premier League. Yes, he's had issues with Jose Mourinho before. And I think one of the key moments last season was the March international break when Pogba went back home to France and he had a long chat with Didier Deschamps at the time, who told him to work hard and to listen to Mourinho and not go to the clash with Mourinho. But also, that, I think what happened at the World Cup put Pogba in a very strong position coming into this season, because Deschamps showed that if you use Pogba in the right way, if you talk to him in the right way, if you put him in the right environment, then you get the player that we saw at the World Cup for France. And so far, Mourinho has failed to do that. So I think Raiola knows that, and Pogba knows that as well, that he's in a very strong position now, and the pressure is on Mourinho and in a way on Manchester United as well.
Paul, what do you make of this situation?
I think it's scandalous. I think absolutely I do. But Pogba's under contract at Manchester United, supposedly the biggest club in the world. He's employed by Manchester United to play football. His agent apparently is shopping him all over the place. Surely his agent and Pogba have had a word with each other and said, look, I don't want you shopping me, I don't want you doing anything for me. Why are we hearing these stories? This is, with the way that Manchester United, their pre-season's gone, this is the last thing that they want. It's questioning everything about Manchester United for me.
There's certainly, Stevie, been almost constant public grumbling and mumbling from both sides of the divide, hasn't there?
Well, there has, but I think for me, through all of this, you know, listening to Julien, that another thing that's piled for me on top of Mourinho is Pogba's almost got a get-out-of-jail-free card. You know, if Pogba doesn't perform for Manchester United, everybody is going to say it's Mourinho. Look at what Deschamps did with Pogba, how great Pogba was in the World Cup. But when he's with Manchester United, it's Mourinho's fault when Pogba doesn't perform. So this is an absolute... It's an absolute disaster for Mourinho.
The difficult third year. Well, this is his record, and it's not a great one, is it? He left out after 3 years with Real Madrid, left after 3 years first time around with Chelsea.
Listen, if you're a stato and you like stats and you agree with that, and you look at history and you agree with history, then there definitely is a pattern of his third season. And it's very difficult to actually sit here and argue that it's not going to happen again. I mean, let's be honest, we're talking about Pogba now, right, on the field. Pogba is Manchester United right now. We're also talking about second-rate players. Boateng's getting let go by Bayern Munich.
Why?
Why? Not because he's fantastic, and yet he's telling Manchester United he's not interested. You've got Kovacic, who couldn't get a game at Real Madrid, other than in the cup games when he wanted to give somebody a rest. He's turning Manchester United down. So if you're the owner or a shareholder at Manchester United right now, you're thinking, hold on a second, we're supposed to be the biggest club in the world, but players who are not elite players are turning us down. Whose fault's that?
And Julian touched on it, Paul, is the fact that Mourinho is now doing so much grumbling and moaning publicly, actually putting players off. Someone like Boateng calling him up and saying, hey, I'm not
to a certain degree, but I've spoken before on the show about what's the relationship like with Jose Mourinho, Ed Woodward, and the people upstairs. Because I don't see that they are desperate for a central defender. That's why they're scratching around, trying to... For me, when I saw that Boateng may be going to United, I was saying, and I'm not a United fan, don't get me wrong, I was saying, don't sign him. Because that's not going to help Manchester United. He's not the type of player that will help them. He just isn't. So I just feel that because of the situation now with the window closing, they've pushed themselves into a corner. If they're going to try and get Harry Maguire, for argument's sake, or whoever they go for, they're going to have to pay so much over the odds now. It's ridiculous.
Well, the question is, Julien, are they going to do that? Is it going to be a busy final day of the transfer window for United? Do you see any business happening for them?
Yeah, I think it might be well busy for them. I was told tonight before coming on the show that they're interested in Kurt Zouma, for example, from Chelsea, who was on loan at Stoke last season. probably not. I mean, I don't know, as a starter or more as a backup. And Everton are also interested in him. But I think they will be looking strongly for a centre half. And then you can also wonder. But you spend a lot of money on Lindelof last season last summer as a centre half, and the year before on Eric Bailly as well. And why don't you try to improve those players instead of when one is not working, then you sign another one, who is not working, then you sign another one, and if this one doesn't work, then you're going to sign another one. And and I think this is it as well. Maybe that puts people off going there, because they know that if for some reason they don't hit their best level straight away, then someone else, they're going to try to sign someone else. So I think it'll be a very interesting last day of the transfer window for United and their fans.
And so much focus on their defence, Stevie, and their defensive needs. But quite frankly, last year, I mean, this is what they did defensively. They're the second best defensive record in terms of goals. They had the most clean sheets in the Premier League. Best goalkeeping performance.
Yeah, I don't understand why they seem to be concentrating on that. At the end of the day, if you dissect individuals in their back line, then you could find problems with all of them.
Yeah.
But as a unit, and I know Shaka thinks that De Gea saved them a lot, but as a unit, you look at the figures, they're as good as anybody in the Premier League.
We all did our Premier League predictions in the last couple of days. I think you all had Man United still being
top four.
In the top four.
Yep.
And why? What's that based on?
Well, I just feel that the play,
I did too, by the way. I think
the group of players that they've got, and I'd rather go front to back, because I'm unlike Steve, I'm not that impressed with them. Certainly individually, collectively maybe those stats prove that they're okay. But De Gea, I don't care what you say, he's a massive player in that back line. So I think going forward with Sanchez, Lukaku, Lingard had a fantastic World Cup, but how is he going to get into the system? Rashford, can Mourinho develop him? So they've got stuff going forward. They signed Fred in the middle of the park with Matic. So they've still got enough, I feel, to be in the... I've got them third, actually.
We will get into the nitty-gritty of your exact Premier League top four predictions later in the show. The odds suggest Manchester United are favourites to finish third, 7-1 to win the Premier League this year. Now then, these are the goals that Real Madrid are trying to find a way to replace. It's a tall task, isn't it? We look at Cristiano Ronaldo, what he produced in his 9 years at the Bernabeu, just mind-boggling figures. The question is, can they fill the gap, so to speak? And gents, this is now Gareth Bale's side, isn't it?
Yep, I think it is.
Yep.
And I think Gareth Bale has to play through the middle the way that Ronaldo did at the end of his time at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I don't think there is any room whatsoever for Benzema.
Really?
For me, the front three should be Isco, Asensio and Gareth Bale. And they all have to chip in, with Bale being the main focus and the main goal scorer. But Asensio and Isco have to step it up as far as the goals they've scored. That is, for me, how they will make up for these goals.
It's a massive ask. It really is. I think Stevie hit on it. I think the collective. I think the midfield players. We know that Ramos gets his first show, but everybody's got to try and help out with this, because that's a phenomenal goal scoring rate.
So, Julian, some opinions here in the studio that Karim Benzema might not be a first-choice starter. Do you see it that way? Could it be Bale, Asensio and Benzema? Is he going to stay? Is he going to produce?
Yeah, I think he will stay. I mean, the front three that started against Roma was Bale on the right, Asensio on the left, and Benzema in the centre. I think Karim Benzema can be a huge help to Gareth Bale, the way he was a huge help to Cristiano Ronaldo as well. And he had a very disappointing season last year, and he's turning 31 at the end of December, Benzema, so he's not getting younger. But I think the experience he has and the way he's been playing for Real Madrid can be a big help for the rest of the team. I agree with the boy that Isco has to be there as well and chipping in, but you can, in my opinion, you can still play Isco and that front three as well. And then maybe Real Madrid can sign another striker. Of course they can. They had Higuain and Benzema for a long time there, for example. But I still believe Benzema has a big role to play in that team.
Real Madrid haven't won that many La Liga titles recently, and I don't think it's because they've had a bad goalkeeper. I don't think it's because of the goalkeeper. Courtois makes them better, yes, because at his best, he is a better goalkeeper than Navas. So, listen, if you have the opportunity, regardless of the position, to make your team better, and it's a good deal, then it makes absolutely no sense to not go ahead and do it. And that's all that they've done here. Navas was a great goalkeeper. They've got an even better goalkeeper in Courtois now, but that's not the reason why they're now going to win La Liga.
I mean, 35 million for a goalkeeper, I'm not too sure, Stevie. I'm not too sure whether he does improve that much. I think Navas has been absolutely fantastic. I think it's most definitely a slight on him, bringing Courtois in. Look, don't get me wrong, I like what Courtois does, but did he really need this position upgrading? Or, you know, if it's upgraded, it's just marginal.
I mean, he's 26.
Yeah.
He's going to be there for another almost a decade. So why not? Why not? 35 million to snip.
They will say good,
I never thought that he'd say 35 million
Well.
to snip for a goalie.
they will say a good goalkeeper can earn you 10 points a year, but they had a pretty good one already. Navas had played a big part in winning 3 Champions League titles.
Look, we'll
Yeah,
find
he
out.
did.
Well, we can debate whether it's a good move. They feel that it is. No, Stephen
Right.
makes the point that he's a younger keeper. We'll find out. We'll find out very, very quickly.
ESPN FC extra time for you, just ahead of the start of the Premier League season. We've all been making our predictions, haven't we? Who went
Very
for
confident.
Who went for Man City to win the title? I think you both did.
Yep.
Well, not to go all.
What about you?
Not. I went for Liverpool to win. I think they're going to end
They've
it.
got a chance.
Who'd you come second, Adrian?
Arsenal. Hey, do you know? Not to go all
Second.
Not to go all statter on you, but
Oh, here we go. What you
The
got?
last-
come on, then.
What you
the
got?
last
you got
the last time an English team won 2 league titles back to back with a World Cup summer sandwiched in between. When did that happen last? That's what you're saying Man City are going to do.
I'm going to guess you don't know either.
You two should
I'm
both
going
know.
to say just a wild guess.
You two
Man
should-
United.
No, way earlier.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Oh, there's a shock.
82, 83. That's the last time it happened. So that's what City are battling
I
against.
told you they were a good side. That
History.
Liverpool side.
History.
No, you
Well
might be
done.
right.
Well done. You dug that out.
I really had to dig
Make a
deep for that.
change, but you might be right.
Julien Laurent is also with us. Julien, maybe we can throw this first question out to you.
Throw.
Is
that a throw?
There it is.
It's a throw.
I'm tossing it your way, Julian, from Ethan. Now that Chelsea have Jorginho, Kovacic and Kante...
You don't need to hear that rubbish now, do they?
Now he has those 3.
Oh, sorry.
Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante. Is that the best midfield trio in the Premier League?
No.
Midfield trio in the Premier.
You could see the
100% that, Ethan.
Yeah, he was thinking there was a set up here.
No,
Just a catch.
no,
Simple.
sorry.
Sometimes the simple answer is the best. No, Ethan. Can you see
Yeah,
what...
I mean, I like it. I like Jorginho. I'll always like Jorginho. If Chelsea get the Jorginho from Napoli, the one who had the right players around him to play the way Sarri wanted him and the team to play, yeah, I think Conte, as we said in the World Cup, and I thought already against Lyon on Tuesday night, after just being there for 2 days, he looked great already. So he will be fab. Kovacic, I'm not so sure, but I don't think that beats even the Fred, Matic and Pogba midfielder. Certainly not the De Bruyne, David Silva, Bernardo Silva and Fernandinho midfield at City. I don't think that beats the Naby Keita, Fabinho and whoever else playing that midfield for Liverpool. So no, it's not the best trio, but it's a good one. It's a good one.
And as you told us, your dream transfer, Kante, may not still be there this time tomorrow. Off to PSG, courtesy of Laurent's transfer wish. Stevie had this question directed to him from Jatine. Umtiti, Barcelona's best defender last year, also had a huge part in France winning the World Cup. Why isn't he part of Stevie's top 5 defenders?
I
Ahead of Van Dijk.
I honestly don't think he had a particularly good World Cup.
Really?
I really don't. I think he was. You know, sometimes when you're not at your best, it's good to be lucky. And I'll tell you what, he probably had between half a dozen and a dozen clearances that he mistimed, came off his shin, or didn't header a ball away clearly, but he got away with it. I mean, seriously, I don't think he really did have a particularly good World Cup.
He's one of those defenders where if you're playing against him as a centre forward, you always at the back of your mind think there's a mistake in this guy, so you've got to be alert for 90 plus minutes. There is a mistake in him every single game.
Julian, sure you've been waiting to jump in here. A little luck involved in Umtiti's World
Seriously,
Cup.
Jules, what do you think of Umtiti in the World Cup? Seriously.
No, Yeah, no, I can see your point. And then, you know, the handball against Australia, for example, which is it's a bad mistake at that level. To put your hand up like that on a wide free kick it's a bad schoolboy error. And I can see some of the clearances you're talking about. I think you're still a bit harsh. I still think he was very solid at time. That Varane maybe made him look a bit better than he is, and Varane was so good in that World Cup that you kind of look at Umtiti and think he was maybe a bit better than he was, but I still thought he had a decent World Cup, a good World Cup, and I thought you're a bit harsh. But I get a lot of your point too.
Yeah, I guess maybe you're a little right. Maybe I'm kind of holding him to too high a standard yet. He still has a lot of growing to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess for the amount of time he's been at the top, then he still has some what's the word I'm looking for, Jim?
Maturing
to do. Yeah. So yeah, I'll go with that, Jules. Maybe I was a little harsh, but
not ready to put him above Van Dijk or Miranda just yet.
Not just.
What about Godin? Steady.
No one's above Godin.
Not yet.
Start with you on this one, Paul. Going back to your playing days, or maybe your coaching days too, which stadium's atmosphere annoyed you the most during your playing days, it says here, but you can throw coaching into. Was there a stadium you always had to go to?
Well,
annoyed.
I'll come back.
Annoyed you.
I'll come back to the coaching in a moment, but playing, no.
Love going everywhere.
I'll tell you for why. Coming from where I came from in Bolton, all the big teams, United, City, Liverpool, Everton, right? It was always a massive joy for me to play there because I've got my mum and dad in the stand, and Sir Bob would give them director's box tickets, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it made you play better, because if you want to be a top player, then you've got to be able to perform in those arenas. And going back to the coaching, there was an instance when Stephen and I were.
I was just thinking about. Are you going to say Chicago?
Yes.
I was just waiting to see.
You never like going to Chicago, really?
Well,
no. Tell him what happened.
Well, I can't tell him everything that happened, but
Right.
but the seats, as you know, are sort of back towards the crowd on the halfway line, and we were just there minding our own business. So we were getting beat. Was it 3-1 or something? We were getting turned over.
In the 92nd minute, we were 3-1
And
down.
this guy and his
There was a couple of them,
entourage
right?
was absolutely giving it to us. They were giving us every
Non-stop pelters.
as we say, or he says in Scotland, giving us pelters, massive pelters.
And you're getting beat.
And you're getting
So
beat.
you can't do it. You can't say anything.
So we had to zip it.
You got to just take it.
So
That was Bridgeview, the new stadium.
Yeah. So anyway, needless to say, to cut this a bit short, we ended up getting a point out of the game.
You got a point.
Yeah. Oh, you got
We took-
like 2 late goals.
We went
to
3-1 down in the 92nd minute,
Yeah.
right? So we thought that's it.
Yeah.
We went straight up the field and scored.
Yep.
And the referee had still another 2 minutes of the game to go. We equalised to make it 3-3, and when we equalised, the referee blew his whistle, and then Mr. Mara and I got off the bench and turned round to the said people behind, and we'll stop. I'll just stop there. I'll just stop
I'm
there.
just picturing your reaction.
Tell you what, I actually got a phone call on the Monday morning from MLS headquarters, and they said, was there some gesturing or some words exchange with you and people in the
No.
crowd? And I was like, I've absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Bet you shut them up though, didn't you?
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, it was fantastic.
The words that we used were
Fantastic.
something along the lines of, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yes.
Julian, actually, before any stadiums you don't like going to in your professional duties or as a fan?
Oh, Marseille. Can only be Marseille.
All right. As a true Parisian, it had to be Marseille, I guess. The Velodrome, not your favourite, no? All right.
Not my favourite.
What about you?
He's
Short
saying
and sweet, Jules.
What about you?
Oxford United. What a
Is that a bogey ground for your mum?
oh. Well, it's just the local rivals to the team.
Does it
I'm
still-
supporting,
is it-
Swindon.
does
It's
it still look
no,
like
it's actually not that stadium anymore. For
What league is
It was just
what league is Swindon in these days?
the finest.
Non-league?
League Two. No, they're still
League Two.
still
Fourth division.
clinging to their league status.
It does sound better.
The
League
fourth
Two.
division. League Two sounds
It's
a lot
actually
better
the
than
old
fourth
fourth
division,
division.
doesn't it? I'll go with League Two. Perfect. Phil Brown's managing us now as well. by the way.
Good. Great.
Perfect off day for the experts. And I'm going to leave that to you. What is the perfect off day for this? A day that doesn't involve maybe coming in here is an off day. I don't know, but
What? You haven't
well,
had
you got a busy
off day?
You got a busy home life. What's the perfect off day involved?
perfect off day,
Some golf,
long lie.
some golf involved.
Oh my, long lie,
Yeah, long lie in.
straight down the golf club,
Yeah,
great round, straight into the bar,
yeah.
and then wake up the next day again.
Any advance on that?
For me, because I live in the beautiful city of Cambridge in Massachusetts, I like to ride my bike down by the river. I really do.
Have you ever had a DUI while riding your bike?
No, I haven't.
Not yet.
But
Have the residents of the Republic of Cambridge become used to this site? Mr.
yes,
Mariner,
because
in full
I'll
flow?
tell you what I ride. I ride my beach cruiser that I bought.
Ooh.
Yeah, I bought this
Little city cruiser.
It's a special bike that people in California know what it is, but I got my beach cruiser. It doesn't really fit in with Cambridge.
Yeah.
Why were you doing that? Has it like got an engine on it?
No,
But the handlebars
They
are up
started
here.
doing this.
The handlebars are up here.
Oh, it's a chopper then.
It's not.
They used to be called choppers. Now they're
It's got-
now they're cruisers.
So it's a chopper.
It's not a chopper.
Riley
Oh, it's a
chopper.
space hopper then.
It's a beach cruiser.
Nice, Julian.
And then a couple of beers.
And then it goes. Well,
course.
yeah, that goes without saying.
Really?
You don't cycle at home, do you?
Julian,
After a couple of beers.
on the odd day you don't have swarmed with your professional duties, well, what's the perfect off day in London or in Paris or anywhere look like for you?
Yeah, I drop the kids at school, and then I watch the cricket. I love watching the cricket with a cup of tea, you know.
Wow.
And yeah, the India-England
See
game.
that coming.
You're a right daredevil, you. aren't
Sorry,
you?
yeah, since moving to England, I sort of fell in love with cricket. So yeah, I love watching my cricket on my own in the house when it's quiet and I don't have all the kids. Oh, Mrs. L, you know, like.
I was going to say, that's not the
rumbling
most
around me.
popular sport in France, Julian. In fact, they actively dislike it, don't they, cricket?
Yeah, but you know, I mean, when I moved to London the first time, I was sharing a flat with some people near Lord's, and I thought Lord's was a football ground until I went to see what it was, and then at the time cricket in England was on terrestrial TV, so it was easy to watch. And I just started learning, started playing a bit with some friends. Now my sons are playing it, and I just love it. It's brilliant. I watch it all, every game, county games, Test series, one international, everything.
Tell you what, Julian, England-India test early September. You're going to be there? I might be there at the Oval. I haven't asked for the time off yet.
Are you
by
at the
way,
Oval?
but- Yes.
Yeah, no, you just did.
Well, yeah, let me know. Let me know.
This
We're
is
good
my
together.
official request for the time off. I need to come over and watch it.
I wonder if Jules is one of those people. See, when you go to cricket in England, right, you go to a test match. So it starts at what, 11 o'clock, and there's a good atmosphere, and everybody's noisy, and then by 1:30, 2 o'clock, it's all ramped up. Everybody's been on the ale. They're all getting carried away. The volume, the noise is incredible. And then by 4 o'clock, when they stop for tea on the field, everybody's asleep. They're all falling asleep behind the advertising board, snoring their heads
It's
off.
the true all-day affair, isn't
Oh
it?
my goodness.
The ebbs and flows of the day.
Well, that's when they're watching the Scottish team play cricket.
Hey, we beat you recently.
Yes, indeed.
What?
That could be a lot quicker watching Scotland.
How did you pull that off, mate?
That doesn't take all day.
No idea.
Julian, Stevie, Paul, pleasure as always. Next edition of the show will be the end of the Premier League transfer window, and just a day before the Premier League season kicks off, we will be lined up and ready to go. Actually, we won't be, but Dan will be back, Craig Burley will be back, and I can't remember who else. You'll have to tune in to find out. ESPN Plus.
Oh, is that you done?
Yeah,
That was a long exit, wasn't it?
Benito.
Absolutely disastrous and a dark day in Arsenal football. Those are just some of the phrases that's been used to describe the news that Stan Kroenke could become the full owner of Arsenal Football Club. Now, you know, if we're talking Arsenal, we have to bring in Paul Mariner. Maris, what do you make of this news and those reactions?
Yeah.
Do you echo those sentiments?
Well, when I first saw what Raji put up, I actually, initially I agree with him, and to a certain extent, I still agree with him. What I looked at first of all was how does Kroenke run his US businesses? Denver Nuggets, LA Rams, not great. Not, you know, they're really very rarely challenged for anything. But I'm willing to give him a chance. We've got to give him a chance. The thing is with Arsenal fans, he will be held accountable. I'm just a little sad that he didn't leave that 3% out so that they could still have the AGM, they could still, you know, voice their opinions. It just smacks of being a little bit too controlled, a little bit too close shop. So we're going to
transparency.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch and listen very carefully to what comes out of Kroenke's company.
I agree. I think definitely a lot of the fans were saying that they do want that transparency.
Yeah.
But then when it really does matter, what us from the footballing perspective want to know is how could this affect either negatively or positively the product that we see on the field and how Arsenal does in the transfer window. I read a quote from Kroenke's group saying that private ownership will help further Arsenal's strategy and ambitions. What do you make of that?
Well, they've got to be held to it. It's as simple as that. That's got to be on a sticker all over the stadium because the fans will not forget that statement. The company and Kroenke have got to be held to the highest regard as far as that statement is concerned. You know, there's a rumour going around about Dembele coming from Barcelona. He's going to cost over 100 million. That would be an incredible signing, an incredible statement. But for his company to come out with that statement, that's the highest regard they've got to be charged to, because this is Arsenal. You know, I mean, I was at the club for a few years. I know what it's like to be involved in that football club, what it means. You know, the storied history of Arsenal Football Club, and you know whether you love them or loathe them, they're still an important team in England. So this is worrying on one side, but I'm willing to give them a chance.
All right, Paul Mariner, ever the diplomat, willing to give it a chance, and we'll see exactly how this does work out for Arsenal in the long run. The Premier League is about to begin this week, and the only person that's probably more excited than I am is this man right here, my TV buddy, Paul Mariner, my work dad as well. Maras, so we've got your picks now. We're going to pull them up in a second as your top four and those who you pick to be relegated. So you have Manchester City winning it again, even though no team has done that back-to-back title since 2009 when United did it. Liverpool, United and Spurs rounding out the top four, and relegated will be Brighton, Huddersfield and Cardiff.
Yeah, I just feel that Manchester City are very deep. I just think the way that Pep coaches and the way that the players go about the business, the variety that he plays in certain positions, we raise our eyebrows sometimes. So I just think they're very deep. Look, I think Liverpool will be closer. You know, I'm thinking it's impossible for City to get 100 points again. If they do, wow. But I think Liverpool will get closer. They look as
How close?
It's difficult.
Stevie Nichols said that this is the best time. This is the most excited he's been about a Liverpool team in a while. Or this is the best that they've looked.
I think we all are, but we all think they're just going to be a little bit short because purely and simply of what City have got. I've got United in second. I think with all the trials and tribulations in third, all the trials and tribulations of the pre-season, I think it'll dissipate when we all settle down a little bit. United have got some decent fixtures early on. I think they'll be okay. I'm going to put my trust in Pochettino, which as an ex-Arsenal man is very unusual. But I think he's got good. Yeah, no sign. He knows something that we don't. Alderweireld is still simmering. I'm absolutely shocked that they're going to let him go. I think they'll be solid. They've got to be solid because they have tailed off for the last couple of years. So I'm actually expecting them to be solid. As far as going
for Chelsea and Arsenal, but let's go down to the other side of the table now. Of course.
I think there's too much for those guys to do. You know, Sarri and Unai Emery. I just think there's too much to do. You know, off the field and on the field. As far as going down,
Cardiff's an easy pick, Maros.
Well, what have you picked it?
I did not pick. I said my one guarantee was Huddersfield.
Yeah, you said the other guarantee was Cardiff going down. So Cardiff, I think is everybody's. Pick for going down. You know, they've not done a lot of work in the market. Just can't see it. They're going to rely on sitting in and just using that defensive quality that they had last year to get promoted from the Championship. I just feel Huddersfield were hanging on. They were hanging on for grim death last year.
So were Southampton.
Yeah, but maybe Sparky's just got enough to keep him up. I don't know. But Chris Hughton, I love Chris Hughton. I think he did a fantastic job. But, you know, we talked about City. Can City repeat? Can Brighton bring that same energy week in, week out? And I say no. So it's... I think there are 6 teams in actual fact that could get relegated, Cardiff being my nap. But, you know, touch and go for the other one. I've got a little bit of confidence about all my picks.
All right, well, when it's all said and done, we'll come and remind you of this hit.
Of course
right
you will.
Here. I know.
Of
well,
course
don't worry.
you will.
I had to make my picks yesterday with Stevie Nichols, so you can best believe we'll be holding each other accountable.
I'm going to be looking.